We're Kim and Al. We have been planning our escape from a fast-paced corporate life since we met 10 years ago. Freedom 45. This year, we finally pulled the ripcord. We quit our jobs, sold our home in the city, bought a property in the sticks, and are building an off-grid home ourselves. We're excited to share our experience as we create our new life on the North River.
outside, the snow is falling down, and every child is having so much fun. The snowman is twice the size as me, with a smile as quirky as mine. We're holding hands to keep each other warm while we stand and watch a choir performing all the Christmas songs that we love. Yeah, all the Christmas songs that we love. And in a while we're gonna go inside and drink our chocolate by the fire. 'Cause all I want is to spend this day with you. Let me give you a Christmas, a moment we'll fill with love and joy. So beautiful, kissing on a mistletoe, baby, with you. I don't need any presents, as long as I spend this day with you. So beautiful, kissing on a mistletoe, baby, with you. Ooh. I'm making plans for what we're gonna do. I feel so blessed that I can be with you, 'cause God knows that I've been longing for you. I just wanna hold you close. You know the stars are shining just for you. Let's take a walk, and we can follow the moonlight till we reach a place we can stay. Maybe kiss a bit and dream away. And in a while we're gonna go inside and drink our chocolate by the fire. 'Cause all I want is to spend this day with you. Let me give you a Christmas, a moment we'll fill with love and joy. So beautiful, kissing on a mistletoe, baby, with you. I don't need any presents, as long as I spend this day with you. So beautiful, kissing on a mistletoe, baby, with you. Ooh. And in a while we're gonna go inside and drink our chocolate by the fire. 'Cause all I want is to spend this day with you. Let me give you a Christmas, a moment we'll fill with love and joy. Love and so beautiful, kissing on a mistletoe, baby, with you. With you. I don't need any presents, as long as I spend this day. Last year I thought about how things can come around just like that if everyone is here to celebrate one day. We have our ups and downs, but when there's love there's always a way. And oh, this time of year we come together to celebrate. Yes, every time the snow is falling down and it is cold outside, we gather around the fireplace and no one cares about yesterday. My favorite holiday, it means so much more than words can say. And I claim that Christmas is a magic day. Sometimes I tend to forget.
Hi guys.
Oh, hello.
So this week we cleared some of the trees that Hydro One was going to take down anyways, and we're going to use that to burn once they've dried out.
Yeah, so that'll be not like next year, probably the year after. So we'll cut those to length, and I'll split them at least in half, and then we'll pile them somewhere kind of inconspicuous and out of the way to let them dry out this summer, and then.
Yeah, well, we already found a spot. I put them back in the back.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And then we have this huge pile of brush that we also need to deal with, too. So
Yeah.
when they do eventually come, we might just get them to chip some of the brush that we don't really want to have to deal with for the fireplace. But I do want some extra kindling, because right now I'm splitting pine in that with the broad axe, and I'm finding my shoulders starting to nag me a little bit. I'm old and somewhat broken from the summer. So I need to recharge a little bit. So
Yeah, we think we're probably at some point going to have to invest in a log splitter. Probably not this year, but in the future, that's probably going to be a smart idea for us to have something to just make this a quicker process. Now that we're learning how much wood we need and how much wood we burn, that's probably going to be a good investment for us.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, at some point, for sure.
So when we removed the brush that was closer to the road, that left room for us to actually transplant the maple.
Yeah.
We are really pleased about that because it was a daunting task, and we've never done that before.
We are not horticulturalists, arborists, whatever. No. So I was just kind of practicing. Like they're very small trees, and honestly, I didn't confirm what the circumference is or what the diameter is of a tree, you know, like what the cutoff point is where you can just simply just cut through it like you would brush, versus what you have to do like a proper, you know, wedge and then back cut to properly fall. But regardless, I cut them all down, just kind of practicing the Humboldt, like I think it's the Humboldt, it's like a kind of a Pac-Man mouth, and then the back cut goes slightly above where the hinge is, you know, where the waka waka is. So you cut right above the, you know, where the two pieces meet. And it was fun. Like it worked just like well, obviously, right, as described. And you just kind of look at the tree and see where it's kind of naturally leaning, and then you make your cut, and then you come from the back. It just falls down nice on the hinge, and yada yada. But yeah, I cleared the way. We brought the tractor in, and we had to take a couple of passes. Like, you know, the strategy how we were going to get it out of the ground. So at first,
it's much heavier than you think. When you're looking at it, you're kind of thinking, we can lift that together, and we could not lift that together. Not with a ball, a root ball that big.
Yeah, so just for anybody to save you the search on the internet, and I've read it on a number of articles, so it seems pretty standard. If you want to know how big the root ball is for a tree that you're going to transplant, because I in hindsight, helping my dad years and years ago, like plant cedar hedges and things, we would take these very small cedar saplings that are only maybe 3 or 4 feet high, and quite a significant root ball along with them, right? Which means you're lifting a lot of dirt, you're doing a lot of digging. Even the ones I transplanted by the solar panel, same thing. And what I found out was you go from ground 6 inches up and on the trunk, and then you measure the diameter of the trunk 6 inches from ground, and for every inch you need roughly a foot, like it says 10 inches to a foot of root ball, like the diameter of the root ball. So this maple is pretty big, and it was 2 inches across at that 6-inch mark. So we needed a 2-inch radius root ball. So you think about that, that's about this much earth, you know, in a 3-dimensional globe. So I think it's about, if I were to guess, just from us trying to manage it ourselves, I'd put it at about 250, 300 pounds,
it's heavy.
Something like that. So in the end, it was really fun. You see in the video, we just kind of nudged it to one side, and Kim slipped the like an old curtain from IKEA underneath half of the root ball once we lifted it up on the end, and then wedged it, sorry, not wedged it, but nudged it from the other end to kind of tilt it the other way so we could get it out from under and around, and then we just kind of did it up like a bindle sack, like you see the stork bringing the baby, like just tied the opposite corners, and then lashed that to the bucket of the tractor, and then, you know, let the tractor do all the work. It was wonderful. Just clean jerk right out of the ground, and we just backed up and brought it over to the hole we had dug, plopped it in, and
we took a bunch of the soil from its original place to make sure that it's going to like its new spot. It is dormant right now, so it's the best time for us to move it, and we've got it nice and straight. It looks beautiful. We love where it is on the property, and it's going to. So
fingers crossed that it takes in the spring.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's really in the end the best thing you can do is dig a hole bigger than the root ball. So we had a 2-inch root ball. I dug about a 4-foot hole, roughly, maybe 3 foot, and then you line it with soil from the hole that the tree came from, so that it's not, you're just trying to prevent shock. Especially because the soil back there's a lot more sand in that area. Like, for anyone who's watching all these videos, you'll see, like, when we dug up the foundation for this building that we're in, a lot more sand in a lot of areas than you know, the solid clay that we deal with in the front of the yard where the septic bed is. So you don't want to just take this plant that's been used to growing in sand and nice loose soil and just plunk it into a block of clay. It's likely just it'll either bathtub and that whole hole will fill up with water and rot the roots, and I don't know enough and I can't talk to the trees, so maybe it's just like they react badly to it. So you line that hole with earth that it's used to, plunk it in there, pack it all down, and hope for the best.
Yeah. So we're really excited. We love the way it looks. We just kept going out there and looking at it.
Yeah.
So
well, and then we had this crazy windstorm. And for anyone that was affected by this, because it was all across Ontario, my brother-in-law was telling us that it was record waves on Lake Superior, like historic record, like 40-foot waves. Yeah. On Lake Superior, and we were relatively spared because the wind warning on, like, the general warning for Northern Ontario was saying winds as high as 90 kilometers an hour, but I think at worst it got maybe in the high 60s or maybe the
ours
low
got
70s
up to 75. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, but it was interesting because I saw our new maple. I'm like, oh man, if it blows it over, that'd make me so sad.
But it stood strong.
Yeah, it's skinny and it's got no leaves, so yeah, has that going for it. Yeah.
And so the next thing that we needed to do this week, you know, our saviors, Gary and Joanne,
God bless them,
offered us some what they call day wood. And so
let me say this. First we declined it because we do that thing that people often do. Like, you know, it's like you're in the desert and you're super thirsty and someone's like, you want a drink of water? And you're like, no, I'm good. You know what I mean? So they say, you want wood? And I'm like, no, we're okay, right? And truthfully, and it was funny because when Gary came around the second time, when they were delivering the mail, we were talking to them. He's like, you don't refuse wood. Like, fair ball. The code of the North. So, we got roughly, I'd say, a cord and a half, maybe, roughly almost 2 cords now of split spruce, and it's seasoned, so it's nice and dry, and some birch as well. Just love burning birch just because of the bark. Like anybody that does any kind of camping, birch bark is the secret. You can start a fire in a pouring rain if you use birch bark, and if you split your kindling nice and fine and just start with fine kindling, because it's got pitch in it, it's got an oil in it, and it's the same sap or pitch or oil that the First Nations and Anishinaabe would use to seal cracks in the birch bark canoes and that. So it's got kind of a inflammable resin in it, and birch bark, you know what I mean, you can dip it in water, you can soak it, you can pull it off a tree lying on the ground in the forest in the middle of a rainstorm, put a match to it, and it's going to go up like tinder. So anyways, long story short, we're really happy. We've got some nice dry wood, and some of the wood that we brought in, including that elm that's a bit wet still, it's dried out, so we're having a much easier time making fires. It's nice. And
so we also, when we picked that up from Gary and Joanne, they had told us that they don't need their scaffolding back until the spring, and they really can't get at the spot where they keep it. So they told us if we just want to hold on to it. So we actually took his idea and made a makeshift spot for the wood to go for now until Al can build something permanent.
To replace the scaffolding so we can give it back to them. But yeah, it was just, But for now, it was just a quick solution so that we can get it in there, because it was actually starting to snow while we were unloading all of the wood and taking it to the back to try and cover it up so that it didn't get wet. Yeah. So we just set up the scaffolding like you normally would, but instead of putting both crossers on, we left the crossers off the front. I took a 2x10 by 8 that I still had left over from our build, and just did a little bit of MacGyvering and stuff to secure it in place, and then we just laid OSB like a roof at the front and the back, and I'll probably covered up a little bit at the sides, but my understanding, and my uncle Ted confirmed it, that thanks Teddy, and it's funny too, is I kept noticing in all the images that I was searching for like woodshed like designs and ideas, you want to leave it a little bit open, like, and again, I can't stress this enough, like, the idea of dry wood is not like getting it out of the rain. That helps, of course. Like if it rains on your wood, especially if it has bark, then the bark will soak up the water and it's not going to light very easy. But you can always peel the bark off. The water that you're worried about is really the natural water inside the wood, inside the fibers, inside the cell of the tree, and that there's nothing you can really do about that. There's no way to fast track that, I think, except for kiln drying, which for us would mean getting a whole bunch of nice dry season wood to make a big fire to dry out wood. So it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Which is not something we're probably going to do.
No, it makes zero sense. So getting it rained on or snowed on a bit is not terrible, because that'll dry off relatively quickly. But the benefit that you get from not really having 4 walls all the way around your wood pile is that wind can get through and help wick away and remove moisture that is naturally and slowly kind of coming out of the wood once you split it. Once you split it open and cut it to 16-inch lengths.
So, and that wood that they gave us had already been split and it was all ready to go, dry. They had it covered up at their place. So
yeah,
we're really, really glad.
Just lucky, yeah, lucky
it's
and
wonderful.
Grateful.
They're just... It's been such a warm welcome from them. They've just been really
lots of good
helpful,
advice.
And we're so pleased and so grateful for them, the warm welcome that they gave us into the town, and just helping us out where they saw that we needed a little bit of
these greenhorns. Yeah, that's good.
So that's pretty much what we did this week, because the rest of it was just getting the wood in here, and we're going down south this weekend to
we're getting ready for a
see
trip.
some family, and we're going to get some new batteries for our solar panels so that we have 2 sets of 4 now.
Yeah.
So that's our next thing that we're going to be doing is upping our power.
Yeah, basically doubling the battery array, and we'll do a video on that. And I know there's lots of people that are kind of, focused, in all the videos and all the stuff that we cover. A lot of people are focused singularly on the solar panel aspect, like the solar power aspect, because not everybody needs to build a house from scratch. Sometimes you can have someone else build your house, but it's still good to know about what your options are if you truly want to go off grid, or if you want to go grid tie. Yeah. So we'll do like an informational one that kind of goes in much greater depth and how all of that works, and the ins and outs and things that I've learned, and some of the panicky moments that I've had just out of sheer ignorance or lack of experience.
Because there's definitely those. I mean, we don't show you those a lot just because we'd rather give you the full scope of the experience after the fact, once we have all the information, but
we want to be honest too. Like, it's not you know what I mean. If we're leaving the impression that everything goes super smooth, that is not the case, right? No. Things go sideways, especially when you're tired and stretched. You forget to do things. You have to go back and fix things. And some things some of those things we had to fix. We showcase those in videos. Other things are just such minutia. They just, in my mind, don't merit it. But when it comes to the solar system, because it is a big investment. Like, it's still not very cheap. Inexpensive, Terry. The thing with the off grid, my understanding, what I read, and the time will tell, and I'll keep track of the math of it, because I'll be honest about everything, every single penny that I've spent on it. But my understanding was, at this point in time, solar power is about 98%, or at least at the beginning of the summer when we began this, it was 98% of the cost of what you would pay tying into the grid here in Ontario. I don't know if that's true anymore because of all the COVID supply chain things. The price of AGM batteries has gone up, the price of panels has gone up, the price of copper has gone up. And if you see the battery cables for these 24 volt battery arrays, they're bigger than my thumb, right? It's expensive, heavy gauge wire, for sure. Yeah. But anyways, long story short. So
that's where we're at. Yeah, looking forward to the holidays and just feeling really good. So happy about our maple. And then the next thing we're going to do is take down that Christmas tree and move that. So looking forward to that as well, because that's going to be really fun to put lights on that.
Lots and festive. Happy Merry Christmas Kwanzaa Dawn, everyone.
Yeah.